Hello everyone, how's everything going? I hope all is well. I wanted to talk about who to do business with back in Ghana. I figured I haven't done or tried to do business with people back in Ghana or people that are abroad that are looking to do business in Ghana. I've realized that there's because you're now got different cultures, it's difficult in communication and it's difficult how to kind of align what you want. So for example, say in Kumasi, if I want them to do something, what they really want is to be left with, to be sent the money so that they can get on with it and do it. And then when they're short, let you know, right? That's what I found, right? In conversations and in trying to do business. What I found is, for example, they want to get their stuff. Say, for example, oh yeah, foundation. They tell you how much it costs. You send them the money, they get along with it, and when they finish, they let you know. That's what I found by majority of Ghanaians doing business with. That's what I've come across, right? So, and the opposite, the other way is for people that live abroad. So what they normally want is for them to know everything, plan everything first, and then get along with it. So what I find is this creates a discrepancy in thinking for the two. Having having thought about, so bearing that in mind in terms of the different ways in kind of doing stuff. Or for example, they might be wanting to do say you're doing a project, especially when it comes to the finishing and stuff like that. It's difficult to kind of agree how things should be done. I was speaking to someone yesterday and they were getting angry about the fact that I wanted to kind of agree first what we needed to do before they do it. They wanted to put a structure on the right and I wanted to put a structure on the left. Initially, we had agreed. Initially, I actually wanted to do the same one. They convinced me to do the other way. I planned for it, and then they wanted to kind of change it. The more I insisted that they do this, the more they were getting angry and angry. That look, they want to go home now and blah blah. So, the carpenter is getting along with it. So naturally, I had to tell them that if they can get along with it, but I'm the one paying. So if they're gonna do it for free, then yeah, they're entitled to. They can do that. But if they're not gonna do it for free and they want my input, then we have to agree all first. Now, your method of communication is important because you want to be strict, but you don't also want to be too strict. Because Ghanaians will smile with you, but if you're too strict, they will show you who's boss also. You might have the money, but they will have a way. That's why a lot of businesses, when they start off, they're doing well, and it can collapse because there's no financial system to hold the person into account. Once they live somewhere, once they pay their rent for 2 years, a year. So really, they can go a few months not working and they'll be cool. And that's the issue. So you have to have the balance between instructing and also seeking the opinion. Sometimes I think I've gone too far in terms of seeking the opinion. And the reason why I do that, because I want the person to be mashed up with me. So I only go by someone that's kind of aligning to my view by seeking the opinion first, and then we can kind of, I want someone that's competent. So I want them to have an input. And in Ghana, it's very difficult because they won't suggest their input. Everything would have to be you. So for it to be you, you would have to know the facts first. So you need someone that's patient enough to let you know how things are going, the look of it, how, say for example, the cleverest thing for me to have done was to pick how I want the thing and send a picture and just do that. That's where you want to get to. So you decide everything. You decide the look. You decide the foundation. You decide. You can't give it to the worker and say, do it for me, and then after complain that they haven't done it because there wasn't a kind of blueprint or an agreed method. So what I'm saying is the best way to do is to kind of, you decide, you go through your pictures, you know how much everything is going to cost and say, let's do it this way. If you're smart enough to get a competent person, and then what they will do is, as time is going on, they'll say, oh, but this bit, this environment is not good, they're likely to be rust, so let's think about this. That's where the competency of the person comes in. But The reason why I'm doing this video is to say that we're missing a trick. And the trick we're missing is the people that you do business with. In my opinion, you should do business majority of where you're from. When I say you're from, not where you live, right? So, for example, I'll give you an example. If you see the Chinese, the Indians come in, they have their core people of the locals, Ghanaians, and their own Indians, right? So, say, for example, you're coming from USA, yeah, you live there, for example. Well, by law anyway, you have to kind of have. So remember, the passport that you have is where you're from, right? So now remember that. Always remember this, because obviously it ties in with the law, especially owning land and everything. I think you get 50 years for land ownership if you totally US passport, and every time you get a visa. Remember, if you US, we're European, if you're Netherlands, that's it. Although passport, no, every time you get a visa, you got a set amount of time that you live there, or obviously until you change. It's easier for you to change because obviously your parents or your ancestors are from there, so it will be easier. But until you have that dual citizenship, what I'm saying is, so call Ghana now for your business. So foreigner in quotes, and also free, and now for your business. You have a Ghanaian person, but your core team should be people from US, right? So you have one Ghanaian person or a couple Ghanaian people, and then do business with people that have gone there. So transitioned. For example, someone like me or someone like you that have gone there, that's moved there to look business. That's been your core team, do business with them. Because they understand where you're coming from. Like the example I gave, they understand that things has to be prepared before you do stuff. If you're Ghanaian and you're looking to do business in Ghana, I suggest majority of your people should be people from Ghana, and then have one or two people from Abuja, because they will understand how you want things done. They will understand how you want things done. And this is important, because I'm not saying don't mix it, but the majority of people should be where you're from. So American, you go there, you should kind of look to do business with someone that's gone back from America that now lives there. You have a couple local people, but majority of them, because it will make things smoother and easier to kind of work with these people. So if you're Ghanaian, majority of people to be Ghanaian, because there will be certain ways of the own system. I say they've reduced it. You understand? You don't even say they've made a deal with the person selling the stuff. You know that. The person coming from abroad doesn't know that yet. But they'll also do a lot of planning ahead of time. But what I'm saying is, with that, you should have like one or two. So if you go to like China Mall, for example, and everything, you can see the core people in terms of taking the money at the tills, everything to do with the money, scanner air burning in our year. They're core people, but you still have Ghanaians and stuff like that to do majority work. Maybe have some supervisory work and everything. Say, for example, in Abuja, anyone that's working corporate will see it. As you go up the ladder, there's more Abrofufo. Anyone that can take, anyone that they think that when it comes critical, I'm going to take this information from, is Abrofufo, their people. Then, as you go down, maybe, they will give like a team leader or something like that to their people and to another person, and then at the lower down, it doesn't matter anyway, because everything you do will come from me. Everything you do will come from me anyway. How you implement it, I might give you autonomy to do it, or I might kind of have systems in place. So I figured that out, and I thought, okay, I would love to know what you think anyway, but I thought if you're working, the people that you're working with, your core team, we're missing a trick. When we go to Ghana, I'm not saying all the time, every time everyone needs to bring $10,000 or whatever, but I'm saying the core people that you do business with, even the ones that are implementing there's a lot of people that have gone there that now live there. They understand exactly where you're from. You will know people that are looking to go back more often. They don't even have to live there. It could be people that go periodically. You understand? Spend 3 months there, spend 6 months there. These are the people that should supervise some of the things that you're looking for. I go there regularly. I kind of understand it. So you can come to where I live, or you can trace me here and know. So if I got consultancy over there, or say for example you're looking to live somewhere over there, or I'm doing a business there, or the person that's moved from here is doing a business there. These are the people to consult, because they will understand some of the pain that they've been through, that you're going to go through, and they can kind of advise you. And if you're Ghanaian, who will be your business at? Have majority of people in Ghana, yeah, I'm talking a local Ghanaian, have someone local in Ghana. Then if you're going to work with a foreigner, give them their role. So that way, they understand that this is how I do things, and you're going to fit into my system. Because else, every business that you're going to is going to be difficult. And this is where most of the complaints come from. Oh, these people are like this. They complain about the brochure for being a bit too controlling, right? Because yeah, it will get irritating. And the reason why you're being controlling, because that's how you've been brought up. Plan everything first. You know, most people that work in corporate know you have to have a risk strategy. And with the risk, you have to identify issues, and then you have to re-baseline your stuff. In Ghana, you just start the thing, and then if it works, fine. Then you learn by doing. Eventually, the people in that brochure need to understand that you can only learn by doing. If you do the thing, say I want to sell phones, I buy one phone, I try selling it. Then you're selling Android, they want iPhone. Then you now know that the next time you need to buy iPhone. You understand? But yeah, there's a little observation that I've come up with. Let me know what you think, what kind of experiences you've gone doing business there as well. But just to sum up, your core people should be the people that where you're from. They will understand you, and then obviously have one or two people from other places as well, because they have the local knowledge. But the people that you pass the work through should be where you're from. You're building you're doing farming, for example. The decision needs to come. The people that you're doing with someone that's done farming, that's also gone there doing farming. Don't go straight to the person over there, because what they would expect will be different. And if you're a local also, and you want to understand how people also work in Abuja, say you're looking for investors, then study them. Let them know what they like and don't like. They will need a lot of pictures. They will need a lot of communication. You can't just say, oh, send me the money, and I say, why they're angry that you want to know everything. No. So you can see the cleverest ones, the ones that are making it, the ones that gain investments, are the ones that are constant communication with the person in Abuja.